I mean, I have memories of being held hostage just because I don't leave my apartment very much. You know, you have to, your life shrinks, and you either consciously shrink yourself with it, or you have some tension. You have some problems, and so yeah, for sure, especially hostages who have been recently released. I don't think it's a very good situation for them. It can bring up all kinds of other stuff, all kinds of emotional stuff.
When you don't know when something's going to end, like we don't know when this is all going to be over in terms of the pandemic. So triggering for people like me, former hostages, or for families, families of former hostages. When you don't know something is going to end, that is extremely anxiety producing. And so now, not only do they not know when their loved one is coming home, they don't know when this pandemic is going to end. They don't know how it's going to affect their loved one coming home. They don't know how it's going to affect their health. Like it's just so much more complicated, right? It just compounds. Gosh, it compounds the trauma.
Like in my particular case, I was stuck in a room in a little house for a month. And that's basically what's going on right now. I mean, people who can't get out or are afraid to go out would be not in the same situation I was in, because they do have a choice, but similar. And I could see where that could make former hostages, maybe start to relive that, or make them have flashbacks or memories of their situation, because although they have more power now, they're still basically restricted to their house. And I know that could cause frustration or tension in people that they're going to have to deal with on a daily basis for maybe more months. So I think depending, again, everything's individual, but I could see where it could be a common problem for people who have been held.
I think it's important to keep these families and Hostage US to keep promoting and to keep resourcing and to keep supporting, because these people are still there. And now it's probably, unfortunately, the resources that maybe were there supporting, they're averted or they're not accessible. And I don't know, maybe I can, when you're a hostage, you feel kind of like you're in a coma. You don't know unless you're being given access to the news somehow, or somebody comes in and tells you something. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's happening. And so every day I feel for people, for sure. My empathy is deep for the people who are being held and the families that are having to go through this, but even more so now in light of a global pandemic.
As long as the pandemic is threatening people's lives, I mean, especially the lives of people who might be in uncertain circumstances anyway, including hostages, you just have that much more for the families to worry about, and which means that they need that much more advice. And the pandemic can also have a bearing on hostage cases.
I can imagine that if I were being held in my situation right now, my family would be feeling so much more fearful about whether or not I was going to make it through, because of where we're at currently in the world. Like, we're in crisis.
The amount of emotional support that a family might need in a situation like this is actually doubled, because the amount of uncertainty has also gone through the roof.
People need to be able to know they can go somewhere, that they're not just sitting there in their room alone, but if they need some help, there's somebody they can call, or somebody they can get in touch with to get some advice on how to deal with their particular situation.